In January, me and Simone was intimate, and I had a girlfriend at the time back in Connecticut. So in January,
Who's now
that
your
happened.
wife.
Yes.
This is the plaintiff, Kenyatta Dowell. She says the defendant is her ex-girlfriend, and she scratched vile words into the paint of her car with a key. She can't get her to pay for the $1,531.47 in repairs she now needs to make, so she's suing her for it. This is the defendant, Simone Harris. She says the plaintiff cheated on her, and she admits it enraged her and she keyed the plaintiff's car. But the plaintiff owes her money because she paid for everything in their relationship and says they're even. She's accused of taking it out on a car.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marilyn Milian in our forum, the People's Court.
The People's Court is now in session, and the Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian is now presiding. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Ms. Dowell, you're suing your former girlfriend, Ms. Harris, for $1,531.47 because she keyed your car. What happened?
I started dating Miss Harris in 2009. We were on and off again till like 2018. And we were going back and forth. She would cheat on me, I would cheat on her. We were just going back and forth. So in 2018, Miss Harris moved to Georgia. So we had split up and we didn't speak for a while. And then I reached out to Miss Harris and around Christmas time of last year. Wait, let me back up a little bit. Before that, I got into a relationship. After me and Simone split up, I got into a relationship, and which is currently my wife right now. So I went to Georgia in January when my uncle passed, and Simone was in Georgia with my family, like she was living with my sister. So in January, me and Simone was intimate, and I had a girlfriend at the time back in Connecticut. So in January,
Who's now
that
your
happened.
wife.
Yes. In January, that happened. We came back. Me and Simone was still cordial. When I was in Georgia, she was telling me that she needed to come back to Connecticut because her daughter is here. You know, her mom is here. Her daughter was going through a lot. Her mom was sick, that she needed to come back to Connecticut. So as a friend, I was saying, okay, you should, come back to Connecticut. When Simone got back to Connecticut, she started telling everyone that I was the reason that she came back to Connecticut, that she came back to Connecticut for me, and we were going to be together.
Well, maybe
and all
that
of
was
this
her
stuff.
real reason.
But that wasn't what we talked about. So, and she came back to Connecticut, like, I think March. Me and my wife started going through our problems in like June. So
In June, she
Simone,
wasn't your wife, right?
no, she was, and we got married in February.
Oh, you did? Okay. So when Simone
Yes.
comes back, right then is like, it's like mid-wedding for you. And what does Simone know that you got married, or she doesn't know?
Not at the time. My wife ended up telling her that we were married.
How much later?
Probably around in April, beginning of May.
Okay.
She found out.
Okay.
So
why didn't you? What do you mean
Simone
found out? Why is this a secret? Why wouldn't you tell Ms. Harris that you got married? Were you still dealing with Ms. Harris? No.
We were talking. We wasn't. When she came back from Georgia, we wasn't intimate at all until June. Once me and my wife started having issues, I reached out to Simone. She was trying to help me. I was living with her for a whole month. She introduced me to her new girlfriend. We all sat at her house with her new girlfriend, everything. I thought everything was fine. I thought we were good. I thought we were friends.
Well, when did in June? Yeah, but you were just saying that in June you start. Are you intimate again with Simone, with Ms. Harris?
Yes, in the middle of June, we were intimate. And then her girlfriend came over on Simone's birthday, July 1st. Simone and her best friend was telling me, don't tell her we was intimate. Don't tell me with her we was intimate. Okay, I'm thinking as a friend, okay, I'm going through my own situation, so I ain't gonna throw salt, as they say, on your situation. So I've never told her girlfriend that we slept together because I was dealing with my own situation. I thought Simone was trying to be my friend.
Yeah, no, y'all got
But
a lot going on. This is
yes, ma'am,
mid-COVID, and everybody's got tons of stuff
yeah,
going on. So
I agree. I agree.
all right, so the night that this happens is when? When does this happen?
This happened August 28th, that the car got
Okay.
keyed.
Okay. Now,
So
in July, are you and Ms. Harris dating or not really?
no, we're not dating at all. She has a whole girlfriend. I am married. She was letting me stay at her house, but we weren't together. Simone worked overnight. I worked at night. So I come in at 11. She has to be to work at 11. So
What
we were
about
barely, we
August?
were,
In the month of August, were you guys dating or according to you, you
no,
weren't dating?
no, she has a whole girlfriend.
Why don't you tell me, Ms. Harris, what was going on during that time?
All right. Like she said, we've been doing this off and on for 11 years. I'm going to speed you up to the case. Back in January, I was down south. I was living my best life. I'm not going to say the best, but I started over. Okay. Me and Kenyatta been through this back and forth, and I'm just tired. I'm tired of the lies. I'm tired of her playing victim. I'm tired of her acting like it's everything me. She came to me and act like her relationship was so distraught. I need you. I can't do it without you. Please come back. And it's hurting me today because I still love this lady. I'm not in a current relationship. I was dealing with someone trying to move on. Kenyatta came back to me again before my birthday, how she can't do it with this girl, how I'm tired. And she came back, but we didn't come back into a relationship. I came back as a friend to help her. Okay. That help continued from June, the end of June, all the way to the end of August. Okay.
And then what happened? What happened on August 28th?
In that process, we were supposed to go to Kenyatta Dow Godchild house for a birthday party. I admit and said I slept with somebody while we were separated, and it threw it all up. Okay, and then Kenyatta went left.
She slept with my ex-girl, my godmom.
Okay, I slept with her ex-girlfriend. At the end of the day,
I'm sorry, wait, hold on.
Okay.
It was an ex-girlfriend of yours? Okay, all right.
Okay, listen, Your Honor, if she want to take it there, we had a threesome with her back in the beginning. So she brought that relationship to me. I didn't just go out looking for it. This is something that we've been doing, Your Honor.
This was 12 years ago, Your Honor.
Okay. Everybody listen. Let's focus on August 28th. I want to know what happens on August 28th.
Like I said, I admitted to sleeping with her ex-girlfriend, and it threw it all everywhere. So Kenyatta got in her feelings, and her and Jasmine, her wife, wasn't speaking. So she reached out. Okay, she reached out because this is what Kenyatta does. When Kenyatta get mad at Simone Harris, she goes off the wall, and now you got to do something to try to hurt me. You can't hurt me more than what you already done, honey. Okay, so she lied. She said she wasn't dealing with Jasmine. Lie. I'm not talking to her. Kenyatta's still sleeping in my house while this was going on, Your Honor. Okay? The day I keyed her car, I went to work that night, and I had got a nasty feeling. So I rode up her street, her wife's street, and I seen Kenyatta's car parked there like it never left. So yes, I went into rage, and I went in her driveway, and I keyed Kenyatta's car. Yes, I did. And I admit it. And
what did you key on it?
I keyed you, and I put an X on her hood because I was tired. How you gonna lie and say you're not with this girl, but then your car is here? Stop lying to me. Just keep it real. We wasn't in a relationship when you came
together.
Back. Okay, that's what I said.
Ms. Dow, hold on. Ms. Harris, you key her car, and Ms. Dow, do you see her doing it, or you see that she's out there? How do you know that she? I mean, it's pretty obvious, if not her, then who? And she admits it. But Ms. Dow, how is it that you learned that? Hold on, Ms. Harris, wait. You recorded her. Do you have the recorder?
By the time I got my phone, she was she was pulling out the driveway. So I got the clip of her driving out the driveway.
Right. You call the police.
Everything.
Yes. I know you did. Can you hold on, Ms. Harris? Ms. Dow, you call the police?
Yes.
Okay. And do the police talk to Ms. Harris?
Yes, she got arrested that day.
Let me ask you a question. After you keyed her car, and you didn't write F, you actually wrote the word You.
I didn't
After
want to
you
cuss
key her
on
car.
TV.
I know. After you key her car, what is it you do?
I went upstairs because the door was unlocked, and I banged on her wife's door. That's how she knew it was me. I banged on the door and I asked both of them to come outside because I want to fight now because now I'm enraged. I want to fight. Stop lying to me, Kenyatta. But nobody came outside. I continued to go about my day. I went to do my run at the park and I went to do here. When I got there to do her aunt here, that's when the cops called me. And they came and arrested me. I gave the cops my whole story, and that's when they looked up Kenyatta's name and found out her wife has a protective order on her. So when I got to jail, Kenyatta was already sitting in jail because she violated her protective order. They married, but your wife got a protective order on you, and y'all can't be
because
together.
of you was
That's
harassing her because Simone was harassing her.
She harassed me at my
thinking
job.
it was me.
I don't have a job no more.
Ms. Harris,
my wife and
Ms. Harris,
and my wife was thinking it
sounds like
was
Ms.
me.
Harris, since you are admitting to the damage, and I have a receipt for what the damage is, it's $1,531.47. So I hope you enjoyed it because that's what it's going to cost. Now, can I ask you a question, Ms. Harris? When was the last time you two saw each other or talked to each other?
At court. I didn't talk to her again. They was trying to be funny, her and her wife at court, and that's the last time I seen them because I'm going to court.
Can I ask you a question? Can I ask you a question? Do you think that Ms. Dowell is good for you?
No, not after these months away. No, she's not even worth it.
Right.
She don't know what to do with my work.
I don't know whether she's worth it. I can tell you that she doesn't bring out the best in you.
She doesn't best of me at all,
and
I
bring out the best
now.
in me, Your Honor. Either.
I realize that now.
So now that you realize that, maybe this is the beginning of the rest of your life, and it's time for both of you to stop the toxicity and move on. Whether move on to bigger and greener and broader pastures, because I don't think you two are particularly good together. All right, now I realize how angry you are. I appreciate how candid you are, and Ms. Dowell's claim against you for the fixing of the car. She's right. You admit she's right, and it's $1,531.47. Verdict to the plaintiff. I wish you guys the best of luck. In particular, Ms. Harris, I want to urge you very much that if Ms. Dowell were to call you, because she does seem to have a pattern of if she's mad at one, go to the other. If she's mad at this one, go to the other. Just stop, man. Grow.
It won't happen
Grow,
again.
right? Everybody, Ms. Dowell, you too, just grow.
Right.
Good luck to you folks.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Ms. Harris, what do you think about what the judge had to say to you?
Well, I took everything what she said into my heart, and at the end of the day, I already moved on. I'm done with the situation, and I wish the best for Kenyatta and her wife.
Okay, well, good luck to you. Ms. Dowell, how about you? You feel that you're going to move on, and obviously you're married. You have a wife. You're okay?
Right. I already moved on. I just wanted this to be out of the way. I just wanted my car fixed, and Simone want to say all of these things about me when she's not a perfect person herself. But like she said, I wish her the best and with everything she got going on. And I thank the judge for my case today.
All right, very good. We'll leave it at that. Good luck to both of you. Let's see what the judges have to say now. Here they are with another edition of After the Verdict.
This case, I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, there's no car that needs keying. And that's the defense I kind of heard from. I mean, there's a complicated relationship with a lot of friction and a little bit of toxicity.
Well, she lied, so.
But come on, you don't get to go to court and tell the judge or a jury, I did it, but the car needed keying because she was messing with a former ex.
I don't think she really thought that defense was going to fly. In fairness to her, I mean, she was pretty candid all the way around with everybody, including the police.
Definitely. And I saw the pictures. It was pretty awful, the keying. And once you get past the paint, when somebody keys your car and you can't see any paint in it, and all you see is either the primer or the steel at the bottom of it.
The thing is, like, imagine the key in your hand and you start to key it, and then, like, a rational mind would stop. Right. And all you get is a line. She actually wrote out every letter of the word and then a big X on the front and then rang the doorbell.
Yeah, honesty will only get you so far in the defense of the lawsuit, though. And when you do it like that, well, she certainly had it coming with the judgment.
Yeah.
Hey, Harvey. A friend was jumping on our trampoline and his girlfriend broke her ankle Well, we were not home. Are we responsible for medical bills? Well, if nothing's wrong with the trampoline and she's just playing on it, no. The only way a homeowner is responsible is if there's negligence. And assuming the trampoline was okay, and assuming these are not minors where there should have been supervision, I think they would be out of luck. And that will do it for this case. The litigants for the next case are inside the courtroom.
This is the plaintiff, Paris Christopher Gwynn. He says he purchased an iPhone XR from the defendant on Facebook, and the guy pulled a switcheroo on him and sent him a different phone. The defendant refuses to rectify the situation, so he's here suing him for the $780 he's now owed. This is the defendant, Agus Sepatus. He says he shipped an iPhone XR to the plaintiff as promised, but the guy's now saying he received a Nokia phone. He has no idea why the plaintiff is trying to scam him or something, and refuses to give him a refund. He's accused of selling one thing and shipping another.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he bought an iPhone from the defendant, and guess what? It wasn't. It turned out to be a Nokia. The defendant says he had no idea what this guy's talking about because he shipped him an iPhone just the way they agreed. It's the case of the old switcheroo.
Have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
Mr. Gwynn, what happened?
Well, on July 21st, I reached out to Alleges, and we were able to negotiate over the next couple days the price for the phone. And I was up in Boca Raton helping my parents move out of their house. So with a couple of complications that we had in terms of time, long story short, we forgot and were unable to get the phone. So I asked Mr. Saputis to ship the phone to me. I said that we would give him the first $190 of the payment, and then we would issue the other half of the payment after we had proof that the shipment had been made, as kind of a sign of good faith.
What kind of phone were you buying?
An iPhone XR.
And how much was he selling it for?
We originally came to a mutual agreement of $380.
Okay, so then what happens?
And so a couple days go by, he finally ships it. And when I open up the package this is what he pictured that he sent me. This is what he pictured.
Okay. And that's what propelled you to go ahead and send him the other $190 because you see an XR in that box, right?
Yes.
All right. So you pay him the rest of the money and then he ships it to you. And what happens?
Well, so I get the notification about 10:30 at my apartment complex that says I received the package. So I open the package up about 11 o'clock after I went down to go get it, because we have a mailroom where it is, in these locked boxes where they put your packages. And I opened up the package, and first of all, the first thing that was there was an envelope that was not originally sent within the picture of what he sent me. So I was a little confused at first, but I thought, okay, well, he's sending it, in an envelope, so it's added protection. And then when you take the phone out, it's the Nokia. And so I immediately, messaged him and said, hey, this is not the phone that you sent me. This is not an iPhone XR Black. And he says, that's not what I put in the box. I never put anything in an envelope. It was just the box with the little cushions. And I said, this sounds like something you need to take care of with UPS, the people you shipped it through. And he goes, absolutely, I'll contact them. So he says that at about 11 o'clock on July 28th. So I reach out to him at about 5 p.m. that same day. And said, hey, what's the update? And he says he claims that he files a claim with UPS. And I asked for evidence. I said, hey, here's my email address. Could you send me the claim number, any sort of evidence that you've done that? And he didn't send me a single thing.
He ghosts after that. All right, Mr. Saputis, what's going on?
Yes, Your Honor. So I did send him the iPhone XR, and so he sent me the rest of the money after I showed him the tracking number of me sending it over. And the issue actually was when I contacted UPS, I chose the cheapest option to ship it out because it was so close and I didn't really think of it much. And so we didn't have insurance on it. And the reason for why I guess I ghosted him was because when he started contacting me about it, I've been scammed before when I was younger through like fake eBay like emails and stuff like that. And he started messaging me about like contacting the FBI and stuff like that. And in my eyes, I mean, all this over a phone seemed kind of, unnecessary. So I thought
What are you talking
he
about? The
received
fact that he was threatening to contact the FBI, the fact that he files a small claim case, and the fact that he brings it to the people's court tells me he's not a scammer. He's really angry that he didn't get the XR. So what do you think happened, Mr. Saputis?
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff says that he bought an iPhone from the defendant, and when it arrived, it was a Nokia. Now, the defendant is saying that somebody from the post office must have done the switch because he didn't. Let's go back into the courtroom.
He doesn't know what happened. He just knows he didn't get what he paid for and he wants his money back. Well, actually, he is claiming to know what happened. He claims that you defrauded him, so he wants double his money back. So you tell me what happened.
Well, Your Honor, I mean, I put the iPhone XR in the box and then I shipped it out through UPS. And on my side of the deal, that was the end of it. So I don't know what else to say other than when I contacted UPS, I didn't have insurance on the package. And so what messed with me was that he told me that he was going to contact the FBI. And to me, that seemed like he was just threatening me to try and get the money back because he already had the phone. And he was trying to get, the rest of his money that he paid me for it.
But you would agree with me that it would look like, a guy who's trying to scam you, who opens up a box, takes his XR, and then takes it to this degree would probably not file a lawsuit or threaten to go to the FBI, right? So let's assume for a moment that he didn't scam you. Then what happened? Because you want me to believe you didn't scam him. So let's just think about this. If you didn't scam him and he didn't scam you, what the heck happened? Someone from UPS went inside, took a phone, put another phone in there. I mean, come on, we all know that didn't happen. So did the tracking number on the package that you received match whatever tracking number he gave you?
Absolutely, it did.
So, Mr. Saputis, what do you think happened?
Ma'am, I'm not sure. I mean, as far as my end of the deal went, I put the phone in the box, the XR, and I shipped it out.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime, Mr. Saputis?
There was. I was intoxicated on the avenue, and I scaled what at the time was the Buddha Sky Bar, and I stumbled into what was the liquor cabinet there, and I proceeded
Took things
to,
from it? Okay.
I did.
Mr. Ginn, have you ever been convicted of a crime?
No, I've gotten a few traffic tickets, but nothing outside of that.
All right, guys, look, unless I believe that he opened it up and he pulled the switcheroo, which I have a very, very hard time believing, then at the end of the day, he pays for something and he doesn't get the something. So you've got to make it right, okay? Yeah, Mr.
Your Honor,
Ginn.
could I say something real quick? So a couple things.
Yep.
First of all, my issue really ultimately in all this was that he didn't let me know whether he saw the box get taped or not. Because that clearly tells me that if he put the wrong phone in there, had the box get taped shut and then shipped it off, there's no way anybody could have switched it like he said might have happened when we had our interaction. But more importantly, I went to a local UPS and I had them measure it on one of their package scales. And it came out to be about 253.2 grams or 0.558 pounds. And it shipped to me. I have the evidence through the shipping label and everything else. It shipped to me at about 0.558. So if he would have sent me the iPhone, which is heavier than the Nokia by about 60 or 70 grams, the package would have been heavier right out the gate when it would have shipped to me. And then it would have said in the statement of when it was shipped that the package was heavier than it said it was, which was my whole issue to begin with.
That's
that
a little
he was
tight.
the one that put the phone in there.
It's interesting. It's fascinating. I like how your mind works. It's a little thin margin, though. It's a little thin margin.
That's fair.
However, I am having grave difficulty with the idea that someone at UPS ripped it open. Now, Mr. Saputis, one of the things you said in your answer to the complaint was that the tape and the picture he sent you looked different. Can you expound on that?
Actually, so when I taped the box, I put one single layer of tape on it. And from what the picture that he sent me, it looks like it's been wrapped multiple times. which I didn't do. It was wrapped just once.
I'm very excited to argue
And
this.
now, go ahead, Mr. Ginn.
How,
Mr. Ginn, what do you do for a living?
I'm a
What do you do
1L
for a
at the
living?
University of Miami. I'm going to be a lawyer.
And there you have it. I can smell lawyer. Go ahead, Mr. Ginn.
So he's, as far as the accusation that I wrapped the box with extra tape, the shipping label's on top of the tape. How would I have ripped the shipping label off, wrapped it in tape?
No, I'm not sure he was accusing you of doing that. He's trying to show that it happened in shipping or something, that somebody else did it, except for that's the label that he put on it, right?
Yeah,
If
exactly.
that's the label that you put on it, how would that happen?
I'm not the one that put on the shipping label on the box, Your Honor.
Who did?
It was at the UPS office.
Right. And the shipping label goes on top of tape that's already there, right? The shipping label doesn't go under tape. Right. So if you're standing at the UPS office mailing it and the shipping label goes on right in front of you, then that's the tape that was there when you sent it, right? Because the shipping label is intact, right? Mr. Saputis, I'm going to order you to pay back the $380 that he paid you. I'm going to order you to pay his court costs. And frankly, I'm going to order you to pay another $380 because I do find that this was fraud on your part. $760, verdict for the plaintiff.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, the judge finds for the plaintiff, thinks the defendant is guilty of fraud. Let's see what he has to say. What do you think, Mr. Saputis?
I didn't scam him, and it's sad that I couldn't prove it, but I don't know how else to state my case. So.
Well, I feel sorry for you, but that's what the judge found, and she decided against you, and you've got to give him back double the cost, really. So it's quite something. Mr. Ginn, let me ask you how you feel about you did a lot of work on this case, really.
I probably spent about 2 hours putting a little report together, a little brief on everything that happened. And once I was able to kind of poke a lot of holes in some of the theories that some of the claims he was making, it kind of just came up pretty easily to get this verdict.
All right. Well, congratulations. Good for you. Time now for another edition of After the Verdict.
I love how the plaintiff in this case, Mr. Ginn, treated the box that he received like a crime scene when he got it. He just rolled up his sleeves and he was like, "What do you mean a Nokia phone? I bought an iPhone XR, with XL, whatever it was." And oh my God, it just really was amazing. Yeah. And, he just went Sherlock Holmes on the whole thing. And it was spectacular.
Kind of proud of him. You know what's kind of interesting is that I had no idea what the defendant was going to answer when I said, "Have you ever been convicted of a crime?"
Right.
And I had no idea what the plaintiff was going to answer when I said, "What do you do for a living?" Because I could tell he was having way too much fun. And he was either a frustrated lawyer or a lawyer to be.
I mean, he was wronged, he knew it, and he was determined to get it straightened out.
Hey, Harvey. I'm a renter, and my car was damaged by the landlord's landscaper, and he won't give me their contact information. Can I make the landlord a third party and sue him because he hired the landscaper? That's a really interesting question and a little bit complicated. I'll explain. If this is an independent contractor that the landlord hired, probably not. However, if you threaten to sue the landlord and say, "Look, if you don't give me the name, you're going to be part of this lawsuit," I have a feeling you're going to get somewhere. That will do it for this case. Litigants for the next case inside the courtroom right now.
This is the plaintiff, Keith Olson. He says he paid for a TV set, and his ex-girlfriend is holding it hostage and won't return it. Since he can't get his TV back, he has no other choice but to sue her for the set's value, $1,135. This is the defendant, Lindsay Bucher. She says she and the plaintiff have a son together, and when they were together, he bought her the TV as a gift. Now he wants it back? Too bad. She's accused of refusing to return property.
All parties, please raise your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket. The plaintiff says he paid for a TV set and his ex-girlfriend is holding it hostage. The ex-girlfriend says that the TV was a gift for her and her son, and she ain't giving it back. It's the case of TV crime.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome.
All right, Mr. Olson, talk to me. What's going on?
Lindsay and I were together on and off briefly in the winter of 2017, a little bit before. We do have a son in common together. My son Gray, our son Gray, born in August of 2017. At the time, we weren't together, but we agreed to raise the child as co-parents. And once he was born, I was a first-time father, her a first-time mother. I was spending a lot of time at her mother's house at the time, like 2 to 3 nights a week, to help with the child. And to make things more comfortable for when I was there, I furnished her mother's family room with a flat screen TV, a sound bar, and then a TV stand and bookshelf. We were there. I was there for 2 or 3 months while we were getting acclimated to the newborn. Again, only a few nights a week as needed to help with the child. And then I had gotten my own place. Since then, we're still raising the child together. I've asked for the entertainment center back a few times.
Can I ask you a question? How old is the child now?
Yes, ma'am. He turned 3 in August, and he's a precocious 3.5.
Okay. Okay. Wonderful. And can you tell me when was it? What months and year were you living there?
I was living there part-time, I would say, shortly after his birth in August 2017 through December, January of 2018. Again, I had my own apartment.
And where has the TV and the TV stand and the sound bar been since December of 2018?
It's still been at her mother's house, the defendant's mother's house.
Why didn't you take it with you in December of 2017 or January of 2018? Why didn't you take it with you when you stopped staying at the mother's house if it's yours?
So I tried making several different attempts to say, hey, at some point I'd like this back. We kind of were more focused on the child at that point. And now that we're...
Well, y'all better be able to focus on 2 things at once. So according to you, Ms. Bucher, it has nothing to do with, we were focused on the child. It's that he's mad at you now. Tell me what your version on all this is.
Yeah, so Keith is correct. He did buy the TV for me in 2017 after my son was born, and he was staying there occasionally to help me. Sometimes we would stay at his apartment. But then, we've since had our ups and downs and are now litigating over custody of our child. And that's really what has sparked him wanting the TV back is the custody.
Whose TV is it?
Issues.
Whose TV is it? It was a 55-inch TV that he bought in 2017. Whose TV is it?
Right. It's my TV. He bought it from me because my TV was broken and helped me get rid of the other one.
Okay. Right. Okay. And when was the first time, according to you, that he ever raised wanting it back?
He texted me a few months ago asking for it, and I said, you bought it for me.
Is this the first time? Was a few months ago?
Yes, since, after the custody dispute started.
All right.
I don't remember the specific date, but I remember him texting me about it.
But it was after the custody dispute came up. And why is there a custody dispute? It sounded like you two were very effectively co-parenting until now. What was it that happened that resulted in a custody dispute?
So we were co-parenting amicably, but unfortunately, there was a lot of... I was becoming a glorified babysitter where I could remain involved with the child, but it was whenever she was working or working per diem, picking up extra shifts. If I had wanted to take him for extra time for my family events, it never, it wasn't important if she didn't have anything else to do. So it started to feel more like leverage. So then I was like, okay, this is serious. I actually was the one to say, let's go to court and let's get this solidified. In the meantime, the reason why it took so long for something like this to come up is because I was more focused on, okay, the parenting plan, the child support, which I'm paying full guideline.
You realize though that that's a very weak argument. Very weak, because it's 3 years later. So it's extremely weak, because you can focus on two things at once.
I
Because if
understand.
you can't be a parent. Okay? It's so the idea that, oh, the reason I never asked for it before a custody battle was because I was so busy parenting. Yeah, you got to parent and you got to do a million other things too. If it was really yours, it feels to me, but if it was really yours, it feels to me like you would have taken it with you when you were no longer staying there. I don't care that you bought it. That's just a receipt that says you paid for it. There's no question you paid for it. She doesn't claim she paid for it. Whether it's really yours is my decision based on the circumstances. She says you were staying there. You say you bought it for yourself because you wanted to be comfortable the few days you were staying there. She says you bought it for her because her TV was broken, and it's hers. So when I'm trying to figure out who it belongs to, little things like whether you took it with you when you stopped staying there matter. Little things like whether you brought it up before the custody battle matter when I'm trying to determine which of you is telling the truth, right? They matter.
I understand.
And
I thought that would be me being nice. That would be being the gentleman of the thing. And then fast forward a year and a half later, and she is going for everything under the sun. And I mean everything under the sun.
That actually proves my point. What's happened is that you're angry now, and so you're saying. But no, my only call, I'm not the custody judge. I'm looking for a little bit of justice.
I'm looking for just a little bit.
I know, but you're not going to get it here. You're not going to get it here. But you should get it in custody court. Because you're right, you're not a glorified babysitter. You are the father. You are 50% in charge of that child. So that's where you get your little bit of justice. Where you don't get, what you don't get is to get angry about whatever's happening in custody court and then claim something that was a gift because you're a gentleman. I'm a gentleman, it was a gift, but now I've changed my mind and now it's mine and I want it back. That's not how it works. If you actually gave it to her because you're a gentleman, then you gave it to her. And you don't get to have it back because you guys are having other problems now. My verdict in this case is for the defendant.
Your Honor.
So the defendant prevails in this case over the TV set. I think the plaintiff is rather upset. Let's see. How do you feel, Mr. Olson?
I mean, I think there was a lot of bigger context that wasn't taken into consideration. And unfortunately, I think some of that was lost in the presentation, and unfortunately, the mother of my child, even though I'm doing all these other great things, she won't even let me have my electronics back. So, justice.
Well, as the judge pointed out, custody court is where this can be ironed out for sure, for a final answer on it. Let's see what Ms. Bucher has to say about it. How do you feel, Ms. Bucher? I would imagine you're relieved you're going to be able to keep the TV, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad to have this issue settled and it to be something that we don't have to argue about anymore.
Okay, let's find out now what the judges have to say about this. They hear cases like this a lot, so let's get another edition now of After the Verdict.
When you go to family court and you're in a contentious paternity or custody battle over time sharing and the monies that are going to be paid for child support one way or the other or both, there's a lot of rancor sometimes, and I think that kind of bled over into this suit, and what looks a whole lot like a gift
from a gentleman.
Right, is suddenly, hey, I never meant to give you that.
Right. It boggles the imagination that he would have left it there for 3 years, until the time when she was winning in paternity court.
He did have a decent-looking screen right behind him, too, in his room there. I don't know. Yeah, maybe it wasn't 55 inches, but it was a good...
I hope these folks put this behind them and can finish arguing about whatever they really need to argue about and just kind of move on. But this is where they had been so good at co-parenting all this time. First of all, like the first words were, let's have the baby and co-parent.
Right.
It's just such a shame that it ended up, that rancor ended up, coming up over 2017 TV, which really represents that he just wanted to win one.
Hey, Harvey. There are traffic cameras and they've popped up all over the place. Are the tickets they send you in the mail legal or valid? That's a great question. There are cases in traffic court where people have challenged the calibration of these, and that's one way of doing it, to say, look, if these things haven't been checked, they're not reliable. But for the most part, I will say, you're stuck if they get you. We'll see you next time.